Let us explore three huge mistakes blocking us from authentic meditation. Whoops, I should have hit this one. That would have been much prettier, don't you think? Let us explore three huge mistakes blocking your authentic meditation. Let's see. We're going to tap button 14. And the answer we seek is going to be found in the third passage of Vast Expanse of the Diamond-like Mine, known in Tibet as Dorje Simpa Namka Che. This text was composed approximately 14 centuries ago by Prahe Vajra, translated from the Tibetan by Chokyo Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. So I'm going to reach for a teaching aid. Please bear. Well, let's see if I can do it without that. Birdie can't. Okay, let's go over here. 1, 2. Let's hit copy. 1, 2, and 3, and paste. Okay, so together let us relaxingly recite. Phenomena do not move the authentic condition, which is liberation, because it liberates without action. Self-originated wisdom is beyond active searching, and liberating itself, it also demonstrates the path of liberation. So what is the first obstacle between us and authentic meditation? The idea of concentration. The only way we can concentrate is to rely upon discrete neural pathways such as the medial prefrontal cortex. If you're a neuroscientist and you're watching this, I apologize for the primitive illustrations I'm using. So, relying upon the prefrontal cortex will exhaust the front of our brain and trigger our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression, which is just about the opposite of the peace and the love that most of us want from meditation. So, what is the opposite of concentration? Every time we inhale, we have an opportunity to practice mindfulness in cooperation with our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. So this mindfulness is the opposite of concentration. We're not trying to mind blank. We're not trying to pick an object to focus on. We're completely vulnerable to the present moment. Now let's bring it back to the root text. There are all kinds of phenomena. There are visual phenomena, there are auditory phenomena, there are kinesthetic phenomena, there are gustatory phenomena, there are olfactory phenomena. There are emotional phenomena, intentional phenomena, intellectual phenomena, mnemonic phenomena, and imaginative phenomena. All these things, but they do not move the authentic condition. They are not the enemies of meditation. We have nothing to fear. Yes, some things are external and others are internal. Some things are pleasurable and other things are painful. Some things are interesting, some things are boring, some things are glorious, some things are grotesque. But none of them are the enemy of meditation. Therefore, it is safe to notice whatever comes up, and to notice it vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. So, the first enemy of meditation is mind blanking. The second enemy is concentration. What's the third enemy? Well, we will discuss that after we recite together. Since self-originated wisdom is beyond active searching, and liberating itself, it also demonstrates the path of liberation. What are we to do with that which we notice? Well, we meditate. But how does that work? Every time we exhale, thanks to the parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, we are wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. By cooperating with our parasympathetic nervous system, we are already wired to let go of whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation. You see, people on the path of Yang's religious patriarchy have been taught that they must rely upon discrete pathways such as the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex to actively analyze or contemplate. But once again, doing that regularly in an hour every 12 hours is going to exhaust the front of our brain, trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, which is the opposite of the peace and love we want from meditation. So instead of crawling down that rabbit hole, getting stuck, we simply cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system, physically relaxing and mentally releasing. That gives birth to the wisdom of letting go. We don't learn that from a book. We learn that from listening to our body. And it can be mastered, according to the Buddha, in as little as a week. So it is beyond the active searching of contemplation, for it is visceral and passive. Now that we've got a good bead about what this passage is trying to teach us, and by the way, quick aside, what are the three obstacles? Mind blanking, concentrating, and contemplating. What are they replaced with? Mindfulness and meditation. So together as a team, let us relaxingly recite this third passage 3 more times. Phenomena do not move the authentic condition, which is liberation, because it liberates without action. That's right. We don't have to force our body and brain to let go. They already are wired to do so. But we have a choice. We can either compete against them or cooperate with them. Clearly, I recommend the second. Let's continue. Since self-originated wisdom is beyond active searching, in liberating itself, it also demonstrates the path of liberation. Phenomena do not move the authentic condition, which is liberation, because it liberates without action. Since self-originated wisdom is beyond active searching, in liberating itself, it also demonstrates the path of liberation. So here's the cool thing. We don't have to act like Watchtower Society. We don't need to knock on people's doors on Saturday morning and wake them up and, try to coerce them into some sort of a pseudo-spiritual religious debate. If we just are ourselves, we practice twice a day, we're transformed by that practice, people will be drawn to us, and they will entrain to our path without us ever trying to coerce or persuade anybody. Let's continue. Phenomena do not move the authentic condition, which is liberation, because liberation is without action. Since self-originated wisdom is beyond active searching and liberating itself, it also demonstrates the path of liberation. Having completed our opening lesson, it is Qui-Gon Tuesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests, as well as my ADHD hyperfocus, to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Together, let us turn our attention to the very latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Together. Oops, one moment. Together. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite or real or imagine subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the bladder region of our lower abdomen. What is the most efficient way that we can cooperate with our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems? Easy. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. I apologize. The verb noticing, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. On the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. When sitting in meditation, it's most sustainable to use the six-fold posture of Vairocana as demonstrated by the statue at Kamakura, Japan. As we breathe in, we pull our gut in and up, our hands are in our lap, our shoulder blades open like the wings of a vulture protecting its lunch from its adversaries. Our chin is subtly tucked. There's a vertical traction between our tush and the back of our head. During our exhalation, we relax as best we can. But how does mindfulness, now that we understand how to sit, how does mindfulness actually work? Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. What do we do with that which we notice? Why, we meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are already wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. The most efficient way, therefore, that we can cooperate with both our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems is for us to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during each inhalation, and to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Together, let us practice right now. And remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. I'll check for questions in about 10 minutes. Doing so could gently invite or real or imagine subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Religious patriarchy is fond of elitism. One of their favorite myths is that we have to sit in the full lotus posture. But that is quickly dispelled by archaeologists who teach us that the most ancient Buddhist statues depict Gautama sitting not in the full lotus posture, but in the quarter lotus posture, where one leg rests comfortably upon the other like a sandwich. To do this, bear three things in mind. Number one, we do not turn out from the knees, they are merely hinge joints. Number two, we turn out from the hips, for they are ball joints. Number three, we do not force anything. We content ourselves to be as sloppy as we need to be, to respect the limitations of our joints, knowing that if we sit even in the sloppy version of this posture for as little as 5 minutes once every 12 hours or so, then within a week or two, we'll be able to time and gravity will rejuvenate our joints sufficiently to be able to assume this posture. Now let's discuss mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena. From the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. But what do we do with that which we notice? We meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So mindfulness and meditation is all about cooperating with our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems. The most efficient way to do that is to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during each inhalation, and to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Together, let us practice right now. Upon the path of religious patriarchy, one might try to repress their dread or desire. Upon the path of Yin's spiritual matriarchy, one simply notices one's dread and desire as we breathe in, and then one relaxes into their ungraspable nature as one relaxes, and thus one experiences either dread or desire melting into the simplicity of mere impulse. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Let us assume the 7-point posture of Vajrayana. Not only are our legs folded and our hands are in our lap, but as we gently generate a vertical traction between our tush and the back of our head, we can feel our gut pull in and up, as well as our shoulder blades open, kind of like the wings of a vulture protecting its meal from its neighbors. The essence of mindfulness is as follows. As we inhale our sympathetic nervous system, let's rephrase this. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualities such as shame or fame we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just the mental. The most efficient way for us to cooperate with both our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems is for us to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during each inhalation, as well as silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during each exhalation. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.